here we are. It's National Technician Appreciation Week. I love how they do National Truck Driver Appreciation Week and National Technician Appreciation Week back to back. I think maybe going forward we should just do September. Supply Chain Appreciation September.
There you go.
And there you go. You know what? That Stream is going to sponsor next year Supply Chain Appreciation September. Welcome to Stream, a trucktractortrailer.com production. My name is Zach Miller. I'm your host, and I'm really honored and excited to be joined by Tyler Robertson today, who a man who probably needs no introduction, but you know what they say when you make assumptions. So he is the CEO of Diesel Laptops. Tyler, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, very much a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invite, sir.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I think, look, the reason why Diesel Laptops took off is because you provide this vital service that I think the industry was really craving, you know? I mean, this is a conversation that we talk about a little bit on Stream, right? Trucking is a very analog type of industry, and we live in a digital world right now. And so the name of the game, trucktractortrailer.com does it. Diesel Laptops does it. How do we get this analog industry into the digital world? And how have you guys done that with Diesel Laptops?
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. I was a service manager for several years over a very large service department. So I saw the struggles. The struggles are real at the dealerships. And I always knew, like, man, I work at the dealership. If we're struggling like this and we have access to tools, access to people we can talk to, the factory, repair information, and we struggle, how the heck are these guys doing it that don't have access to all those things? And that kind of bore out there's a needs out there. And that's kind of where Diesel Laptops, came from at the end of the day.
How long have you been doing this? It's about 10 years or so, is that right?
Yeah, so I started doing stuff part-time actually while I worked for the dealership. I took different roles inside the dealership, and we were just trying to help our customers that were having problems inside there. So I was coming up with products and services while working for somebody else. So my first customer was actually the dealership I worked for. And then they would sell that stuff to their customers is the way it got started. And that was I started doing that about a decade ago. And then it was about 6 years ago where I just quit my full-time job and just said, I'm going to go do this thing on my own. I want to be my own boss, hang my own shingle outside and see where it can go. And it was me and my garage dining room table 6 years ago. And now we have almost 200 employees and things have just gone really fast. So we did that by just helping people solve problems.
That's amazing. And I think that's right there, the American entrepreneurship story right there. You had that dream, you wanted to be your own boss. But more importantly than all that, you had a service that people needed, and you worked your ass off to get that service to the people.
Yeah, and we did it, I guess, like the hard way, they say now, where we didn't go get a bunch of venture capitalist money, and we didn't go raise funds and all those things. I literally started Diesel Laptops with my credit card and a couple $1,000 and just put everything we made right back into the company and just rinse and repeat about 1 million times over. And we sit in a really good spot today. We're a profitable company. We're still growing 30% year over year. And as we open one door and figure out a solution, all of a sudden there's 8 more doors to walk through and pick which one to go through next. So it's been crazy. And I think the market's responding. I mean, obviously we wouldn't keep growing like we were if we weren't taking care of our customers and solving problems and making technicians' jobs easier to do out in the field. And that's really what it's all about. Is we always start backwards. We say, hey, let's go solve a problem. And then we make a solution and we figure out how the heck to make money off it later. So we do it kind of backwards, but it's worked well for us at this point.
I love that, though. But it's interesting, too, because I think 6 years ago, there wasn't that venture / Silicon Valley interest in trucking that there is today, fast forward 6 years. And I think that's part of because you guys were able to do it successfully. But I think it's also this, with the rise in e-commerce, this sort of aha moment that the American consumer had, like, you know what? This trucking industry, this is a pretty important industry. Maybe we should take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, it was getting attention kind of before COVID, and things were starting to go, and people were starting to realize, especially the way freight moves around, that software can solve problems versus the manual way that people do it. But COVID sped it all up, and now I mean, it's just amazing. Right now, it's called freight tech. Right now, we have this new word for all these things that are going on, and literally billions of dollars in these unicorn companies being created, but billions of dollars being invested, and it's trickling down to truck repair. So all of a sudden you got new entrants, you have new people talking about things, launching new companies, and everyone realized when COVID hit how important truck and transportation and keeping the trucks on the road was. I mean, that's all that was keeping the grocery stores full. Everything else shut down. And now with the supply chain and the way nobody has stock on anything anymore, and raw goods and things moving across the planet, trucks move everything you touch, eat, move, ride in, essentially. And everyone kind of knows that, but it's like this thing in the background, and those things break, and that's where the repair side comes in. So yeah, it's amazing, and it really sped up everything tremendously fast.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, I to that point, I read an article just this week in Bloomberg that said that the supply chain expertise for the MBA is the hottest MBA there is right now. And I know I know people have different opinions on the value of an MBA, but regardless of what you think about it, the hot one is supply chain right now.
Yeah, people don't realize those roles exist in basically every company that makes or sells something. It's like the logistics you need to move freight around. Again, I've been reading a lot of articles lately too, and it's amazing. And now it's not just a trucking problem, it's an air freight problem, it's a train problem, it's an ocean freight problem. I mean, as we're sitting here talking, there's more boats stuck on the port of LA than there's ever been. Normally they have 5 or 6 boats anchored. I think today they had 65 or something sitting there waiting to get unloaded. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. And that ties into the fact, like as you alluded to, the heavy duty equipment is hard to get right now, which means that companies need to keep their current assets running a little bit longer. And that's where the technician comes in. And here we are. It's National Technician Appreciation Week. I love how they do National Truck Driver Appreciation Week and National Technician Appreciation Week back to back. I think maybe going forward we should just do September. Supply chain appreciation September.
There you go.
And there you go. You know what? Stream is going to sponsor next year. Supply chain appreciation September. TruckTractorTrailer.com. Diesel laptops. We're doing it.
Hey, I like it, man. And it really needs to be. I mean, it's really truckers and the people that keep all that stuff moving. It's really the heartbeat of everything goes on for commerce. It's a critical part, and there's a technician shortage going on. And they talk about all this money coming in to fix the whole logistics world, all these billions. I can tell you there's just as much inefficiency problems on the repair side and the parts side of this thing as well. And there's major issues. So I don't know if you saw this, but PACCAR, for example, they're having so many problems with a certain sensor on their vehicle. And this is a sensor that when it fails, it derates your truck. So it only goes 5 miles an hour. They literally have 35,000 trucks that are down waiting on that one part. And those trucks can't be used to haul freight. And it's an emission thing. So the federal government's basically stepped in and said, we're going to make an exemption. You guys can actually do a factory approved emission delete on your emission system, just so these trucks can keep rolling. But it's all these emergency things that are happening just to keep freight moving. It's absolutely insane what we're seeing today. And it's going to go on for the next year, maybe even 2 years of all these ripple effects.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that as a society, generationally, we have failed. We have failed to target those students in high school for whom college may not be right for them, to push them to careers in various sort of skills and trades, such as truck drivers, such as technicians, mechanics, plumbers, electricians, you name it. And here we sit right now on the verge of a major decade that should be pushing us forward, and we don't have a workforce capable of meeting the jobs that are available to them. It's a massive problem across this nation.
Well, and I can put some numbers behind how bad the diesel technician shortage is. So As of this is the last time we ran the numbers was a couple months ago, and we did this in partnership with American Diesel Training Centers, who does entry level diesel techs. But just on Indeed.com, so one platform, there was 33,000 open job positions for diesel technicians.
Oh my God.
Now, keep in mind that number is even worse than I just said, because that's only Indeed. Not everybody advertises on Indeed. And a lot of those job positions are for more than one hire, right? So they don't open 2 job ads to hire 2 people. They open one and say we're hiring 2. So the real number is probably 2 or 3 times higher. So there's probably somewhere between 60 and 90,000 available jobs for diesel technicians to go take today. And then, so that's like the demand side, right? So then it's like, oh, that's not a big deal if we're producing 100,000 diesel techs a year. We're not. If you look at the enrollment across all the tech colleges and what's happening, it's been declining over the last 5-10 years. Technical colleges this year will only produce around 6,000 diesel technicians out of community colleges. So in tech colleges. So how do we get the gap between 6,000 coming in? And we need 60 to 90,000. That's a huge gap, and it's getting worse and worse and worse every single month for a lot of reasons. So yeah, that's a big problem. And I know we need to make more, but if we get more efficient and fixing trucks quicker and get better on maintenance, all of a sudden you lower that demand need down as well. So there's ways to fix this problem from multiple angles, but it's going to be a challenge.
But that diesel laptops, you guys improve the efficiency. That's something that you've been doing for the last 6 years.
It is, yeah. I mean, people think of us as a diagnostic tool company, but we're maybe a little in disguise there. We're an efficiency company, right? Solutions to make your shop more efficient. And what we've really come down to notice, it's really 4 things to fix a truck that you need other things. So it's the 4 things we focus on. You need a diagnostic tool to actually hook up to these things. Are complex now, electronic sensors, you got driverless trucks coming, electric trucks, all these things, right? You have that whole thing going on. You have to actually train the technicians, not only on the software, but how to properly diagnose a truck and not just throw the old parts cannon at it and just throw a bunch of parts. So you need that piece of it. You need access to repair information and parts lookup information to find your parts quickly and easily and diagnose that truck easily. And then the other piece we say you need is you need that phone a friend, right? You need the ability to be able to chat or call someone and say, man, I don't know what I'm doing here. Is this something new, or what are you seeing? And those are all the 4 things that when we go to talk to customers about diagnostics, they may call on the tool, but we quickly have that conversation. Like, yeah, I need all those are exactly all the things we need. And we understand that. So that's exactly how we go to market and talk to our customers.
It's interesting you brought up the autonomous and the electric vehicles. I was going to ask you about that, about where you think that is in terms of the repair, the parts, the diagnostic of EV and autonomous.
Yeah, so I'll give you a line that I picked up this week as the Truck Maintenance Council, and everyone's talking electric trucks, right? Electric this, electric that. Volvo's there with theirs, and Freightliner, everyone's got their electric stuff there. And someone made a good point. He goes, today in North America, there are more Bugattis on the road today than Class 8 electric trucks. It's going to take a minute, right? And Bugattis, they're $2-3 million cars, right? So it's going to be a hot minute before electric, gets to where it needs to get to. Autonomous, there's a lot of things going on there, different levels of autonomy that's coming. I think the bigger one that people don't understand, and those get all the news. In my opinion, I don't think that is the most important or biggest impact on the repair process. The biggest impact in repair process that it's already begun is the fact that information now comes off the trucks before they even get to the shop. So now when we're getting data as they're driving around, now you have call centers and you have AI tools that are monitoring data, monitoring what's happening in real time. And now you're able to get ahead of it before there is even a problem. And the other thing that it really affects is now who's really making the decision-making process on where trucks get fixed and what gets fixed on them. A lot of what happens in the shop and that diagnostic experience now goes to a call center somewhere staffed with trained people that know what they're doing and what they're looking at, and are really experts on the diagnostic side. So I think that to me is going to be the biggest shift, and that has big impacts on people that sell parts and fix trucks and deal with maintenances and breakdowns.
See, I love that. I totally agree with that. To me, it's and this is what tech does, right? Tech shifts from the physical to the more customer service, walk you through it type of thing. And I think that right there, to the extent that, as we let off the show talking about, to the extent that there is still that wide gap between the digital and the analog, I think it's in that understanding of what you need is a trusted customer service partner.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem right now with a lot of repair shops is they're just all reactive, right? They're just like, whoever's coming in the door, I'm going to fix this. And where they need to get to is, they got to do that, and they got to figure out all the new technology and all these computers and everything else. But if they want to survive, they have to get to the point where they provide value to their customers. And I believe a lot of that is going to be, hey, let's monitor your truck. Let's do these other things proactively to keep your truck on the road longer than up more than your competitors, and keep those wheels moving as much as possible. And it is amazing. A year ago, I would have said, man, that stuff's so far in the future. That's far fetched. You can't have a computer figure out what's going to happen to my truck before the codes appear. And I can tell you, I've seen it. We've done pilot programs with customers. It is entirely possible to catch problems on commercial trucks before the driver even sees a symptom or a fault code or check engine light even comes on. It is entirely possible, and it is being done today. And it is a big part of where our industry is going.
Amazing. Tyler, somebody wants to get in touch with you. Somebody wants a Diesel Laptops demo. How would they go about doing that?
Yeah, if they go to diesellaptops.com or just search for the word Diesel Laptops, trust me, we are everywhere and out there, and we'll probably follow you around the internet a bunch once you land on our website too, thanks to modern advertising. If they want to reach me personally, LinkedIn's the best way to do it. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I enjoy connecting with people on there. Just search for Tyler Robertson Diesel. I will pop up and be more than happy to have conversations.
Awesome. Tyler, thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you do. And again, guys, please remember to support your technicians. They're the ones who keep the vehicles on the road. They are a vital part of a vital industry in this economy. If you like the content you see, please remember to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on stream.